It's been egg-size hail, we heard reports out of Marysville. That's coming into Delaware right now, but I think Franklin County is also going to see very intense hail as well as this continues to move down into the metros. I want to take you over right now and show you, this is our 3D view of the storm. And what we use this for, Mike, we're really looking at the height of the clouds, and they really blew up this afternoon.
Yeah, and the higher the storm goes, the higher up it goes, again, the better potential for hail. I get to get up into that very cold part of the atmosphere. Those hailstones thrown back and forth and up and down. Oh, look at that sign going there, an indication of the wind. That exit sign really swaying in the wind right there. So, again, a line of strong storms coming through, and there's a line of severe thunderstorm warnings that stretches from Cincinnati through Columbus all the way up to Mansfield and over to Licking County and Knox County. Unbroken line of complete warnings along that big Boeing Echo that's moving through right now.
We do not have a tornado warning. However, we have a very strong severe thunderstorm, one capable of producing winds upwards of 75 to 80 miles an hour. Let's go out and take a look at how it's looking outside right now. We've got a couple of different views for you. Let's go to our tower cam right now. Sky view has been showing the intense clouds, and now it looks like some rain coming in. And boy, Mike, we need the rain.
Yeah, we do need the rain. This is not the way we need it, though. We did get an email message that says tornado sirens going off in London, in Madison County as well. That was just before the top of the hour. Now, there's been no tornado warning issued. Now, we just took a power hit here. Hopefully, you'll still be able to hear us. We lost most of the lights in the studio.
The strong winds are now moving through Dublin, moving into Worthington. So if you're in Worthington, you should be in your shelter. I would go to your tornado shelter just to be on the safe side with this, as the winds are that strong coming through. Down through Hilliard, down to Upper Arlington, looks like downtown Columbus, German Village, all the way down to
look
around
at this,
Grove
Chris.
City.
This is a live picture out of Union County where it's either sheets of rain or possibly rain and hail coming down. It's a good point. Whether it's a tornado warning or not, when you've got 80-mile-an-hour winds, tornadoes easily can produce 80-mile-an-hour gusts, and in the end, if you get property damage, does it really matter if it was a tornado or if it was a thunderstorm wind? That's a damaging wind at 80 miles an hour.
We've been talking about Zambezi Bay and folks out there. We have on the phone Tracy Ritter, who was one of the evacuees at Zambezi Bay. You there, Tracy?
I am there. Hello.
Hey, are you there with your girls, Tracy?
I am. I'm actually here with my husband and my two girls. We had just gotten to Zambezi Bay. When we got here, we were picking our seats. We could see the sky pretty much turned black, very black. We seeked shelter under a shelter with some tables, and as we were sitting there, the winds really picked up. It blew trash cans and rain, and then there was about 100 of us, and we all moved in to where they serve the food and drinks.
The reports of power outages are rising rapidly. What began as a few hundred in some of these counties has now risen. Here in Franklin County, 12,900 people without power at this moment. Delaware County, 3,300 reported outages, and then Hardin County, more than 4,000.
So it looks like that northern part of Franklin County. Now you can see where we've got the track of the storm heading now over, basically right over towards Newark.
Let's go over to Paul Aker now for an update on some of the pictures he's getting in. Paul,
that's right, Jerry. More pictures of these destructive forces associated with this storm. Take a look behind me. This is Dublin Rings Road in the Dublin area, I'm told. And take a look at this big tree down. It looks like it's in a parking lot. That is a good size, let's go back to that picture, a good sized tree with large limbs that's down right in the middle of that parking lot. Now, so far, no word of any injuries associated with this, so we can be thankful for that, but certainly the potential for that when you take a look at these pictures. This is near OSU, and yet another large tree down.
We've got Angela Ann out in New Albany tonight. Angela, what's it like where you are?
There are trees down in yards all around me, flagpoles, the one outside our home, snapped in half. And I just checked my neighbor's yard. We have some woods behind us. There is literally a tree that is about 50 feet tall, 2 feet around, snapped like a twig.
Wow. That's that rooftop in Madison County there in Mount Sterling, rather, where the roof of that building was taken off.
Yeah, and we also have pictures of a downed tree in Marion. The image is courtesy of Twitter. Look at that, just snapped in half. You just heard Angela Ann talking about how trees were snapped like toothpicks. That's a big tree.
Of 83-mile-an-hour winds going through the Gahanna area here in Franklin County, 70-mile-an-hour winds going through Newark and Licking County. So those cells just off to our east still very intense. You can see some in Fairfield County from Bremen going back to south of Lancaster and down toward Amanda.
Let's go to the newsroom now. Kurt Ludlow with the damage update.
Unfortunately, it's going to be a long night, or even maybe longer, for folks who have lost power, because the numbers just keep going up. A dramatic rise here over the past 20 minutes in folks reporting outages now. In all of AEP's coverage area, 121,000 people without power, 61,000 of those right here in Franklin County.
We've got the radar zoomed in right now over here east because we have severe thunderstorm warnings out over in Guernsey County. You folks there have not been hit yet. This is coming your way, and it looks to me like it's strengthening. It's even stronger now around Zanesville in this general area right here.
Now, here is a resident in West Columbus near Grandview dealing with the aftermath of the storm tonight.
Standing outside near our window, and we were looking outside, and we saw embers coming down from the sky, and all of a sudden we saw a little fire started. So we watching it, and it kept getting bigger and bigger, and then after about 10-15 seconds, just large explosion, just blinding. Actually, it was real bright, and that's about it. It was just shocking.
We just had thunder rumble through here to such a degree that it shook the building. Let's go back to Chris Bradley in the Weather Center. Chris, this is really serious stuff.
Absolutely. We have a tornado warning still in effect over in Coshocton County and Tuscarawas County, and this goes until 6:30 tonight. And this is the area right now. It's coming out of Coshocton, basically between Warsaw and Coshocton, and it's moving its way east at 30 to 40 miles per hour.
We have a viewer picture for you of a billboard where the winds have just ripped this thing right into shreds.
Wow.
You can see it was high off the ground there and right up there in the path of those winds, and it is in pieces now, and that's going to be some extensive work to get that billboard straightened out.
This is from Reynoldsburg. As you can see, the street lights are actually dangling there due to damage in Reynoldsburg, the intersection of Baltrain and Farmsbury. I think that's where it's from.
Yeah, that's right. This is just an example of the kind of damage we have tonight, and it's still reading green there as it twists in the breeze.
It came fast.
Oh my God!
Tearing through central Ohio with wicked speed and fury, 80-mile-an-hour winds. Ripping apart buildings.
And all of a sudden it sounded like a bus crashed into my family room.
Sparking fires, overturning planes, and toppling trees.
2 seconds later, boom. All that just comes down.
And this, a nightmare on the road. Power lines trapping dozens of people in their cars. Tonight, while the storms fade, the heat remains, and work on power lines and yards is far from over. 10 TV News HD at 11 starts right now.
Damage across central Ohio tonight. Power lines on cars, trees uprooted, fires sparked. And tonight, tens of thousands of people remain in the dark. Thanks for joining us at 11. I'm Jerry Revish.
And I'm Kristen Hartman. We have crews spread across central Ohio tonight covering the storm's impact.
Well, Jerry, for nearly 5 hours, dozens of drivers were stuck under high voltage electrical lines, just like this one that you see right here. But moments ago, first responders rescued many of those drivers. Now, this is video that we shot moments ago of those drivers being led to an awaiting COTA bus. Now, some of them had to be assisted by Columbus police officers. Chopper 10 caught these images moments after the power lines went down. Now, a witness told first responders that lightning initially struck one of the electrical poles, knocking about 14 others out of place and trapping about 24 cars on Hamilton Road.
Firefighters say downed power lines are to blame for touching off or torching 2 trucks. Upper Arlington firefighters say the storm blew down a high voltage line onto 2 commercial trucks at the Allied Building Products Corporation on Kinnear, lighting them on fire. Firefighters say they were unable to spray water onto the fire because the wires were still live. So they were forced to watch as the trucks burned. We begin with breaking news on 10 TV 8 News HD at 6. Governor John Kasich declared a state of emergency after 80-mile-per-hour winds left more than 600,000 customers without power. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kristen Hartman.
And I'm Jerry Revish. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're broadcasting live on WTVN Radio for those who do not have power tonight.
Franklin County still has more than 173,000 customers in the dark. Nearly 50,000 are without power still in Licking County. 5 to 7 days to get the lights back on for 90% of the powerless. That's the estimate. Maybe you've wondered, where's AEP working to fix the power problems? CEO Pablo Vega says 1,700 crews and linemen are on it, and he tells me they're asking for about 1,800 additional resources. But there are critics of how AEP is performing. As a mayor, have you heard anything from AEP?
No, not one word.
You seem to be a little put out by that.
I am.
Whitehall Mayor Kim Maggard says she's in the dark, literally and figuratively. She'd like to know more about the power problems so she can tell her community what's going on beyond the fact they have a cooling center. She thinks AEP should be in better touch with local leaders. Could you do better?
We can always do better, and we'll always work to do better.
That said, CEO Pablo Vegas contends what hit Central Ohio Friday was worse than Hurricane Ike.
Really appreciate you getting to us. Tell the president I appreciate the fact that he got to you and you got to me so quickly.
Only 10 TV was there at that very moment when Governor Kasich was speaking with FEMA Administrator Craig Fugate. He's asking for federal funds to help the state receive more generators, fuel, water, and ice. At the same time, representatives from every state agency are here in this emergency operations center assessing the damage and needs statewide. The governor tells me this system will get everyone in need help.
But there's a tremendous number of people that don't have any power. So our seniors, you know, we worry about them. So we're going to get the guard out there trying to make sure they're not isolated.
And the storms have claimed at least one life now in Muskingum County. A barn collapsed on North Fleedham Road there, southwest of Zanesville. And our news partners at the Zanesville Times-Recorder snapped this photo shortly after the collapse, with emergency crews still at the scene. The paper reports a 70-year-old woman was killed in this barn while checking on the animals during the storms.
The storms were so powerful, trees were completely uprooted and came crashing down on homes. 10 TV's Ashley Berry continues our storm coverage from Clintonville.
Well, pretty much every tree-lined street here in Clintonville is littered with some type of damage, and the pictures are just unbelievable. Take a look at this pine tree here. When it snapped in half, it literally ripped the roof right off the porch of this home here, and these residents are not alone.
I just pulled the motor scooter in the garage, and I heard this sound like a bomb going off.
Joey Jack says he won't soon forget that ear-piercing sound or heartbreaking image of a sprawling 100-year-old tree he's grown to love, completely uprooted and laying on top of his Clintonville home.
It was just a mess. Couldn't believe it. One of those nightmares you hope you wake up from pretty soon.
The nightmares seem to haunt just about every street here as debris fields blocked intersections and kept residents busy trying to clean up the path of destruction.